did a Spanish Italian nobleman become the face of Jesus? Well, let's talk about Cesare Borgia, who became the face of villainy and the inspiration for Machiavellian philosophy. The Borgia family was a noble dynasty of Spanish origin that became infamous during the Renaissance for their political ambitions, their lavish lifestyles, and their numerous scandals. The rise to prominence was marked by a combination of cunning, ruthlessness, and manipulation. Central to their notoriety were two key figures who ascended to the cloth: Rodrigo Borgia and his son Cesare Borgia. Rodrigo Borgia was actually the second Borgia pope that ever existed. The Borgias became symbols of corruption, ambition, and intrigue. Their story has been immortalized through historical accounts and popular culture, often depicting them as power-hungry villains. This video will go through the lives of these influential figures, the scandals surrounding them, and their lasting impact on history, particularly through the lens of Cesare Borgia's relationship with the political philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli. Rodrigo Borgia was born in 1431 in Spain and became Pope Alexander VI in 1492, following a controversial election. His papacy marked a period of unprecedented corruption, marked by nepotism and a series of immoral actions that earned him a reputation as one of the most scandalous popes in history. Alexander VI used his position to amass power and wealth for his family, securing influential positions for his children and relatives. This was a violation of the vows of celibacy and chastity that most priests were expected to uphold. His numerous affairs, most notably his mistress, Venosa de Cantanay, produced several children, including Cesare and Lucrezia Borgia, whose lives were intertwined with political intrigue. Alexander VI's papacy was rife with scandal. He was known for his blatant nepotism, bestowing vast lands and titles upon his children, particularly Cesare and Lucrezia. His actions were seen as morally reprehensible as they went against the religious and ethical codes of the Roman Catholic Church. One of the most infamous incidents was his involvement with the so-called Borgia Pope scandals, which included accusations of bribery during the elections for Pope, lavish spending on personal pleasures, and a series of murders allegedly committed to maintain his family's power. His reign also saw a number of political alliances forged through immoral means, including the infamous papal bull that divided the New World between Spain and Portugal. His blatant disregard for church traditions led many to view him as a symbol of the Vatican's corruption during the Renaissance. Cesare Borgia, his son, born in 1475, was the eldest son of Pope Alexander VI and his mistress. Initially, Cesare entered the church, becoming a priest and man of the cloth, and later a bishop and even a cardinal. His early life was characterized by religious titles, but his true ambitions lay in the military and political sphere. Despite his clerical position, Cesare quickly grew disillusioned with the religious life, seeking more secular power. In 1493, he was appointed cardinal by his father, a move that solidified the Borgia family's control over the Roman Catholic Church. However, Cesare's time in the church was short-lived. He eventually made the decision to leave the clergy and pursue a military and political career that reflected his desire to build a legacy through military conquest and statecraft rather than through religious service. Cesare Borgia's departure from the church was not a spiritual decision, but rather it was a calculated move to further his power, ambitions, as well as desire for military prowess. In the 15th century, the papacy offered a lucrative and powerful position, but Cesare, inspired by examples of his father and the political landscape at the time, saw greater potential in military leadership. After leaving the church, Cesare became a military commander, securing numerous territories in central Italy and employing ruthless tactics to expand his sphere of influence. His reputation grew as a capable but brutal commander, with stories of poisonings, assassinations, and betrayals becoming associated with his name. One of the most notorious scandals surrounding Cesare was the alleged murder of his brother, Juan Borgia, which remains a subject of historical debate. Cesare Borgia also impacted Machiavelli's The Prince, a famous political writing. Cesare Borgia's actions and political strategies influenced Niccolo Machiavelli when he wrote his famous political treatise, The Prince. Machiavelli admired Cesare's pragmatic and sometimes ruthless approach to governance. Cesare's ability to manipulate alliances, his use of fear as a tool of control, and his mastery in eliminating rivals served as a model for Machiavelli's ideas on statecraft. In The Prince, Machiavelli argues that rulers should prioritize the stability of their states over any moral or ethical considerations, a concept embodied by Cesare Borgia's willingness to use any means necessary to keep his power. Cesar's ability to navigate the complexity of politics with both cunning and force made him a prime example of Machiavellian principles in action. Cesare Borgia became a symbol of ruthlessness. Cesare Borgia's legacy, both during his life and posthumously, has been shaped by his ruthless pursuit of power. His military campaigns were characterized by violent tactics and the systematic elimination of opponents who stood in his way. Despite his intelligence and strategic brilliance, Cesare's downfall was inevitable. His father, Pope Alexander VI, died in 1503, and Cesare's enemies quickly seized upon this weakened state. Cesare was captured, imprisoned, and later exiled from the territories he once controlled. His life, marked by ambition and betrayal, became a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked power. One of the more surprising aspects of Cesare Borgia's legacy is the role his likeness played in shaping the image of Jesus Christ in art. Though some scholars may dispute this, during the Renaissance, many artists sought to depict Jesus as a noble and regal figure, and they often used the facial features of prominent figures of the time as inspiration. Cesare Borgia was one of those figures as a wealthy and influential nobleman, and he became the model for many depictions of Christ. Artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, were reportedly influenced by Borgia's image when creating their renditions of Jesus. This had a lasting impact on Christian iconography, as many traditional depictions of Jesus in Western art resemble a rich, white Italian noble, which is a far cry from what Jesus looked like as a poor Jewish man from the ancient Middle East that was very Sephardic in appearance and very dark-skinned. Jesus resembled an aristocratic Italian nobleman rather than the historical reality of a Middle Eastern Semitic man, and so this served as a reminder of ways in which political and religious figures shape cultural perceptions. The use of Cesare Borgia's likeness in religious art reflects the intersection of power, influence, and cultural norms during the Renaissance. It also highlights how the manipulation of imagery can impact the perception of religious figures and distort their historical identity. This phenomenon underscores the complex relationship between art, politics, and religion during the Renaissance time period. Cesare Borgia's political career was defined by his use of military force, ruthlessness, and diplomacy. He demonstrated a keen understanding of Renaissance politics, forging and breaking alliances as it suited his goals. His ability to manage complex situations, including his involvement in the infamous Romagna campaigns, where he sought to consolidate power in central Italy, demonstrated tactical brilliance. However, his efforts were marred by his ruthlessness, and this ultimately led to his downfall. After his father's death, Cesare's political ambitions crumbled, and his name became synonymous with ambition gone wrong. At this point, we reached the decline of the Borgia family. With the death of Pope Alexander VI and Cesare's subsequent loss of power, his exile from Italy and the decline of his political fortunes marked the end of the Borgia family's dominance in European politics. Cesare spent his final years in Spain, far from the territories he once controlled, and died in 1507 under mysterious circumstances. His sister, Lucretia Borgia, fared somewhat better, marrying into various noble families and maintaining a degree of influence, though the Borgia name would never again hold the power it once had. The Borgia family remains one of the most notorious dynasties in history. Their rise to power, characterized by ambition, scandal, and ruthlessness, left a lasting imprint on Renaissance politics and culture. Rodrigo Borgia's papacy and Cesare Borgia's military and political endeavors were marked by corruption, manipulation, and ambition. Their scandals, particularly the dark tales of murder and betrayal, have fueled their infamy for centuries. Yet their impact on political philosophy, as seen in Machiavelli's The Prince and in the artistic portrayal of religious figures such as Jesus, has ensured their place in both history and legend. The Borgia family, with all its flaws, serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between power, religion, and the shaping of history. So if you ever wonder where you are seeing this face before, whenever you look at the white depictions of Jesus, you might be looking at features that were borrowed from Cesare Borgia. And this would be a far cry from the actual Jesus that we know of dark-skinned Semitic origins in the Middle East, who really is a more realistic rendition, as you would see in the image on the left. The image on the right, however, was the individual that was actually used as a model, Cesare Borgia. And it is from this that somehow now this has entered popular culture, and a lot of people are very wont to shed this image of this white Italian Spanish Jesus from the iconography. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're new here, this is a safe space. If you're returning, I love and appreciate you so much, and I'm glad that you're back. In the name of the Most High God, I wish you health, wealth, prosperity, and abundance. Blessings and protection. Signing off. Take care. Have a great day.